Hello, friends and gamers. My name is Jinx, and welcome to Operation Hats. This is the German turn number 18, which I believe is January 1945. Welcome all. Thank you all for your patience as we go through this turn. I tried to get my turn out a little bit sooner, but just simply couldn't get it. There's a little bit too many permutations that I had to calculate and think about what to do and on multiple levels across multiple theaters, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's why we're here where we are. So thank you, my opponents and allies, for your grace as you were patient with me. Let's do a bit of a turn summary for the turn number 17. We went ahead and attacked Russian-held northeastern Europe. Königsberg, Estonia, I think it is, Latvia, or not Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia, and managed to wipe out the Soviet Air Force quite successfully. Apart from that, we didn't do too much in that theater of war, just moved around some units back and forth, but apart from that, a relatively quiet turn. We did move our Kriegsflot back over to Normandy, I believe. That was last turn. And that is essentially it. So kind of a quiet turn altogether for the Germans. Nothing too dramatic. The Soviets, on their hand, had an interesting turn last turn. They captured Bulgaria, Eastern Yugoslavia, Hungary, made an attempt for Slovakia, I believe, or tried to bomb it, doing quite good for themselves altogether. All things considered, they recaptured Western Ukraine. They secured Northern Finland. They did quite well in this theater as well, so just generally a good turn for them altogether. They're preparing a little bit of a counterattack here with forces up in Belarusia, but apart from that, a pretty good turn overall for the Russian forces in the Eastern Theater, I would say, or I guess it would be the Western Theater. In the Eastern Theater, things aren't doing so good for them. They had to pull back from Buryatia in the face of Japanese pushes this direction. The Japanese had looked pretty strong before with their air force, and so the Soviets thought, we have to give up on Buryatia because it has a couple factories there and make a race for Novosibirsk. Otherwise, we're going to lose Novosibirsk, and then we're going to be cut off completely, because even the factories, I don't think the factories could produce anything anyways, because they're out of supply, if memory serves. There was no railway kind of link connecting to the factories, so it was useless to them. They couldn't reinforce, so they had to pull back. So the Japanese instead moved into this neck of the woods. The CCP on the Russian turn made an attempt towards the Mongolian forces here and were devastated in a pretty vicious attack. They didn't do so well for themselves, so they had to pull back from that one, and that made the Soviets decide to pull back towards Novosibirsk. So the Japanese, on their part, in the Pacific Theater, they could have made a mistake here in the fact that they put their ships into port in Midway, which if the Americans had situated themselves, they could have bombed that port, got rid of the fighters there, or tamed the fighters a little bit, took the casualties on the fighters, bombed the port, and trapped this fleet inside the port. The Brits could have lend-leased them a Strat bomber, but for whatever reason, it didn't occur, and we just kept going with it. It wouldn't have made too big of an impact on the game anyways, but nonetheless, there it is. The Japs went and invaded Pacific Northwest, seeing as they could hold it for a full turn. The Americans came up here with a battleship to wipe out the Jap destroyer. They helped secure the position in British Columbia and position themselves to recapture the Pacific Northwest. That's what went on there. I think they went ahead and built up some subs as well, but it's been kind of a quiet turn on this theater for the Americans. The Japs, again, pushing, producing, building units, sending a lot of lend-lease over to the Axis, the European Axis, quite well. They did end up losing Kwangtung to the KMT attacking this territory, but the Japs made a play for Calcutta, which perhaps weakened Kwangtung, captured Calcutta, and forced the FEC to withdraw back from Bengal to Calcutta. So this opens it up for the Japs to either do another secondary attack against these forces, quite considerably stronger now in Calcutta, or just simply move up to Bengal and attempt to perhaps begin to encircle that territory, something like that. Or the Japs might turn their attention towards going for Yunnan and the KMT forces here. Keep in mind, too, that with the Calcutta's loss to the FEC, the treasury was lost as well, so the Calcutta, the FEC couldn't produce any units this past turn. So we'll see what the Japs decide to do on their turn. The Anzac, pretty quiet, just securing their position here in this neck of the woods. I thought they had built a ship, but I don't see it here on the map, so perhaps they didn't build it after all. The FEC, for their part, pulled back from Iran to Maharashtra, perhaps in a secondary plan to attack Calcutta later on. We'll have to see how that goes for both parties in this theater. The British Commonwealth in South Africa, just building up some units and railing them north towards putting pressure on Egypt. The French forces building up a strong force over here in anticipation of going after Egypt as well. So that looks to be the case. And my thinking is the French are going to do the preliminary attack to weaken the forces in Egypt, and then the Americans are going to come roaring in to finish them off. Something like that, I would Wouldn't be too surprised. So that's what's going on in this neck of the woods here, and that covers the Italians as well, trying to secure both their regions here in Italy, in Rome, in Egypt, and basically holding on to those territories. So that's the situation there. The Americans, a strong force, 2 factories here in Morocco, so they're building 4 units per turn here with a deadly force. I think they have a lift capacity of about 16 units over here, so quite sizable, and that means they can drop a heavy force anywhere they like, considering they have air force as well. I think the only thing holding them back is the presence of 5 anti-aircraft guns here, 3 over here, and 4 over here in Egypt. So enough to be a little bit intimidating, making sure that whatever strike that they make is a powerful enough one that would wipe us out, or wipe out a key point that the Italians have. So we'll see what they do in the near future in this regards. Apart from that, the West Coast has been pretty quiet. East Coast has been pretty quiet on America. Nothing too much going on here. The Brits in Britain have been doing quite well in just fortifying their position, strengthening, preventing any attacks coming in. Their fleet is still trapped in harbor due to the Kriegsflot coming back from Portugal sea zone back over here, trapping them in port. So they're not going to do too much over here for this turn anyways. We'll see what next turn has to bring. And that concludes our summary of what's going on in Europe and the rest of the world. We have our tech chart. We succeeded twice, radar and logistics. We only have one more stage in logistics to go for. I don't normally go for logistics. This is one of the things that Trig started when I was in the hospital with my baby there, and so yeah, that's what's going on here. But radar is always a nice inclusion. And as for tech charts, I guess we're up here in turn number 18. The Japs are doing quite well, better than the Americans, especially considering their bonuses, and the Americans aren't pulling in their bonus this turn due to the Pacific Northwest being out. So the Japs are outproducing the Americans by sizable margins. The Germans are outproducing the Soviets by a little bit, and then of course we have the tail end here, the Italians, kind of scraping up what they can at the end. But yeah, overall income-wise, I believe, I haven't updated this, but last I checked, the collective anti-Axis forces were at 174, and the Axis forces were at 161. But that might have changed in the last little bit. Okay, going on to our German production, what we're doing this turn. Now, I went to get advice from my ally there, Trig, as the Japanese forces. And this is what I decided to build, although he disagrees with the ship aspect of it, and he could probably be right. So if there's any big major flaw in my thinking, blame it on me 100%. He was pushing for more infantry, and probably rightfully so. But we're building 10 infantry, 1 airborne, getting our free blue division, 2 militia upgrades, Lend-Leasing AA to the Italians, a Jap Marine, and 2 destroyers and 1 sub. It's a grand total of $66 is what we have to spend. It says 69, but you apply the discount and it's at 66. Okay, combat moves. Pretty straightforward combat moves. There's only a couple. So these 2 subs can move 3 due to that sub base here. The German transport picks up 2 infantry. And we're going to make an attack against Cape Town. 1, 2, 3. Well, not Cape Town specifically. We're going to make an attack against South Africa. Capture this territory off the mighty South African forces there. I actually lived for a time in South Africa, and I would definitely live there again. I thought it was a very beautiful place. Beautiful place. All right, moving on to our other combat moves. A medium bomber is going to attack this minor factory. We're going to have our forces here do a couple moves in the eastern portions of Europe. We have an infantry, a Tiger tank, and a tactical bomber going to Bessarabia to attack this position here, hoping to blitz onward into blitz onward into West Ukraine. From East Poland to West Ukraine, we're sending in 15 infantry, 3 fighters, another 2 coming in from northern Italy, another 1 coming in from West Germany, and that is it. So a bit of a risky battle here. It's mostly just to get rid of some of their T-34s, their advanced mechs, and loosen it up so that they can't jointly attack our forces in East Poland. That's the idea there. This airborne unit, an air transport, is going to hit southern Finland. This transport's going to go back to Western Germany, pick up 2 infantry, drop them off in South Finland as well. Okay, I think that about covers it. I don't see anything else on the board that needs to be addressed. Cool. All right, let's start with some attacks. Here we have our attacking force against that factory here, rolling a d6, a 6, and now rolling the defense, 3 or less. Goodness, I hope this doesn't hit me. Every bombing attack I've had has been horrible, but at a 7, they miss. So we managed to hit this place for 7 damage. I'm not sure how much damage they can absorb. Let's do a quick glance here. Airbase, nope. dockyards, ports, shipyards, minor factories, they can max damage of 5. So that's what's going on here. Okay, so this damages their port. This damages their factory, meaning that we don't have to worry about them producing 4 units over here. Makes it that their attack against Europe is a little slower, slows it down slightly. Not hugely, but slightly. All right, now going into our attack against Bessarabia. We have the maroon is the Russians. We have a green for our aircraft. This one here is for our tiger, and the gray is for our infantry. So let's find a little bit of a corner we could roll this at. Okay, our fighter hit, and that's it. Okay, so we take this guy off. And we managed to capture 1 territory. These units keep on blitzing northwards to western Ukraine. And my kids are not too happy in the next room, so we'll see how that, if we're interrupted in any way, shape, or form. There's one attack I see I forgot here, just to walk on into Estonia from Latvia of 2 units here, so pretty straightforward, nothing too simple. I hope my opponents allow us to do something like that. It's not a very dramatic move. It was marked here clearly, so I think it's acceptable. All right, now for the big attack. And I'm going to do this very carefully on the battle board because I've had bad luck with big battles. Okay, so I've got all the dice lined up. Infantry at 2, aircraft at 6, yellow at 7, and 8 for the tiger. Now, one thing occurs to me, that these tigers have target selection. Sorry, tigers T-34s have target selection. 2, 2, 3, 4. So we need to pull those out and condense these puppies here and throw these into the mix. Okay, so let's roll these dice and see how many hits we can make. Okay, here's a 2. So 1 hit, 2 hits, 3 hits from the infantry. 1, 2, 3. I think that's clear. 9, 7, 2 here, another 2. So pretty well exactly the average if memory serves. 1, 2, 3, 4. For every 4 I should have a hit. So under average for those guys. The aircraft on that other hand is exactly average. 1, 2, 3. 3 hits there. And everything else missed. So 6 hits total. Not as good as it could be. Not as good as it could be. So that ends that first attack. So 6 hits, not great. I know what to do here. It goes nuts when I do that. I'll just delete it. Okay, 6 hits ain't great. Ain't great at all. But we'll just pull these guys off here. Alright, now for their attacks. Now, if memory serves, they were going to hit something about the same as what we would roll on our first round. So, a T-34 hit, that's a 1. So that's 1 target selection. Then we have the teal, which is the infantry. 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have these guys at 5. Just 2 hits. So let me double check. Yeah, 2 hits. Okay. Let's go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 hits there. 1, 2, 3. 3 hits there, with one of them being a target selection. So obviously the target select will take off that. Yeah, so hold on. That takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, okay. And now we need to take off 6 of ours here. Alright, moving into round 2. So far, the Soviets being ahead of us in regards to casualties. Marked out. So we delete these guys. Right. And that's 9 of these guys. This guy's gone. Okay, we're not going to do as good, so I suspect this battle is dicey to begin with, so we'll see if we manage to pin them down in any shape. 1, 2 hits by the infantry. 1, 2, yeah. The aircraft, 1, 2. 2 hits by the aircraft. And 1 with target selection. Okay, So 5 hits total. The enemy on their end has 4 guys left over. And then we deleted these dice. Okay, let's take care of these guys here now. Before we forget. One target selection will take out T-34. And that's it. So on their end, let's see what they roll. All right, so what are we doing again? What color was this? These guys were teal. So they have 4. So all misses on that end. And the green got 3 hits for 5. 5 hits total. So yeah, teal missed entirely. The T-34s hit twice. And the advanced military 3 times. So 5 hits. 5 on both sides. Not the end of the world. Okay. So that leaves us with, oopsie daisy. 4 dudes left over. Oopsie daisy. Oh, come on. Apparently they don't obey the laws of physics down here. And now we lost count of our grand total. I think it's this much. Yeah, that's right. There's 4 hits there. Rolling some dice. This one looks pretty promising for our forces. Our infantry got nothing. There's a 6, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 4, 5 hits total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits total. With one of them being a target selection. 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 3. Okay, 6 hits is good. Now what does the enemy respond with? These guys are gone. So we're left with these. So I expect about 4 hits on these ones. So it's a super dicey battle. Just missed it. Here, you see this one down here? I don't know if you see it. That's a 10. And even in a little marker tooltip here, it shows that there's nothing underneath 5. So we just managed to miss this one. 6 hits against the enemy, no responses. Yeah, 6 hits. Yeah, perfect. So we take out these 5 and the 6th one here, and we'll manage to win with a few guys left over. That's pretty awesome. Okay, and we can just re-roll the same stuff as here, and all we need is 2 hits, and then we score this victory. And I see a dice rolled in behind. I'll throw it on top. Okay, what do we got here? We have all our infantry missed. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 hits. Enough to wipe them out for sure. Okay, and then I know we're switching the colors of the dice here for them, but these remaining T-34s are rolling 2 dice. With a 7 and an 8, 2 misses. I don't know, maybe I panned over that too quickly. 2 misses, and we managed to wipe them out. A fairly risky battle paying off with not taking as many casualties as we thought we would. So that's pretty good. So we're going to move these up here. Okay, we need to delete our unfortunate Tiger tank. I'm going to delete this stuff here too. And I'm going to delete everything that basically is on the map, because otherwise I will just simply forget it. So these come off. This thing comes off as well. And okay, and our Air Force is going to go back. Back to that neck of the woods. And our 4 infantry, lucky survivors, are going to come here. When I math that out, I should have only survived with 1 or 2 infantry left over. So the fact that's 4 is nice, is really nice. Okay, that takes care of all of our combat moves and all of our combats all together across the board. I'll just remove this piece, oops, this piece here. Good. All right, now for some non-combat movements. All right, so this medium bomber, just going to go back here. Then we're going to move some dudes on the board here. We're going to move these 5 from Dolnolaskie over to East Poland, from Warsaw to Poland, 1 guy from Königsberg to Lubelski. These guys, the 4 vehicle class, are going to come all the way to East Poland as well to kind of reinforce that position from any potential counterattack that might come our way. We're going to send 5 infantry from East Germany to Dolnolaskie, 1 from Bohemia to Dolnolaskie, 1 from Bohemia to Slovakia, 1 from Slovakia to East Poland. Those are all infantry moves. We're going to rail 3 infantry from Berlin coming over to East Poland as well, repopulating this in the event of another opportunity that might knock. So the reason I attacked as I did, there's another guy coming from Bavaria, is because my calculations was even if I lost all the infantry, it'd be something like 50, 53 IPP lost on my end if I lost all the infantry, which I will when they counterattack, and the enemy will lose. The enemy will lose something to the tune of 70 something. So 20 IPP difference spoils their attack coming in from Kiev because they can't blitz into East Poland, and likewise these South Ukrainian cats can't come into East Poland as well. So it just weakens this neck of the woods, and then I could weaken this area. So it helps out. Plus T-34s, you can't rebuild them that quickly. So there's that. This Panzer Grenadier is coming from Bohemia to Dolnolaskie as well, and that is that. So we need to park this transport plane. It'll go to West Germany. I'm going to move these Deutsches Afrika Korps to Switzerland. That's light armor, medium armor, motorized, and an artillery. And these guys, that's 3 Panzer Grenadier and 3 advanced infantry, going to come to Switzerland as well. That's my counterattacking force. It can't hit everywhere, but it can hit, in the Mediterranean regions, these 2 territories. It can basically hit, and that's about it. So that's the situation there for us. This transport can't go in port because it participated in an attack. Then we have some movements here in northern Italy. 2 infantry are going to come from Rome. Sorry, northern Italy to Rome. Actually, going to make that 3 infantry coming that way, and 2 infantry are going to come from southern France to Italy as well. Then I have some dudes up here making some moves. Infantry from Paris to Aquitaine, infantry from Paris to Normandy, 2 Marines, an airborne, and an anti-aircraft gun coming up to this neck of the woods. Good, good. I'm pretty happy with that. All right. I don't know why it bounced there. I think that's covered. Over here in this neck of the woods, we have our Transjordan forces coming into southern Iraq, as well as the cavalry as well. We have a guy railing in from Istanbul all the way down to Lower Egypt here. All right. I think that takes care of that. Now our ships, we're having these 3 subs move to Sea Zone A35, and these ships, including these guys, they're going to come to this Portuguese sea zone. They're going to drop them off in Portugal proper, and then they're all going to go into port to join our allies here in the mountains. Now, we did roll for recruitment roll for Spain. We missed. One of the first times we missed in a long time. So that's a coastal sub-destroyer, 3 transports, and I think another destroyer there too. Let's see. Did I not bring a 3rd destroyer? Oh yeah, here it is. 1, 2 destroyers, coastal defense ship, and 3 transports. And that's the scoop there. The rest of this fleet stays here. I think that covers it. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and delete the lines here on the table. So we cleared up. Okay, and go to our production chart. And I'll first delete my guys here. And then I'm going to delete the stuff that was equivalent cost for the German forces. So we're going to send a anti-aircraft gun to northern Italy. We're going to send a Marine over to, I don't really know where it matters. I think we can safely put it to Honshu, because from Honshu, they can be picked up anywhere, from the Sea of Japan or P-16 as well. It just works on multiple levels, I think. Good. And then we go for putting our units on the board wherever they showed up. So there's 1 going to go into Syria, 1 going to go to Paris, 1 going to go to Warsaw. We're going to do a militia and a militia upgrade into East Poland. So what that basically does is I just add an infantry. Ah, man, add an infantry. And that deletes it all. Good. Add infantry there. And then I have some remaining dudes. This guy obviously has to go here to Berlin. The airborne is going to go to Western Germany. I guess I may as well bring this all closer. The only difference, the only thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to replace this militia. Do a militia upgrade here, I think. Gonna put one of these guys in Istanbul. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We'll just delete these and make one another infantry. And now the remaining meager forces are going to be put in this neck of the woods. So very skinny amounts of troops. Not much worth speaking about, to be honest. It's pretty limited. So hopefully we can do something dramatic enough with them. And these guys are going to go join this fleet here in Normandy. So Assab, Assab and 2 destroyers. And that'll do it. That'll do it. There's nothing much else to add to the board. We go to our collect income. So by rights, we should have gone up 1, 2, 3, 4, $4. $4 it is. So we should be at 58. 58 it is. We don't have a certain bonuses. We're basically just Sweden and that's it. So 58, 59, 60, 63. $63. Every turn a little bit less. $63, but nonetheless, we're pretty content with how things are going. Especially with the mighty presence of our strong ally on this theater. It's pretty good. And the gap is widening between ourselves and the Soviets as they're losing their Far Eastern domains and also feeling some pressure on Eastern Europe as well. Now, what will the Soviets do? They could do a couple different things. They could do an all-out attack into East Poland. They could definitely do that. They could do a quick run into our neck of the woods here in the Balkans and such and put some pressure in this theater as well. Of course, if they do that, then they end up losing this, and it doesn't benefit them too much to go, say, towards Italy because their victory points aren't there. If it was early game, sure, they might strike a deal with their allies in some fashion, but right now, their victory points are in Romania, Warsaw, Istanbul, Helsinki, and holding on to their own domain, and it'll be difficult for them to do anything much more beyond that. I think, anyways. I could be very much mistaken. But that is it. That is the conclusion of our turn. So I pass it on to the lovely 5-star general as he sees where he's going to throw the mighty force of the Soviets, which direction he's going to go. Thank you all for watching. Cheers.